Alright, so before I get into this story, yes, I do know that I made a video very similar to this. If you haven't watched that, it's called What Heartbreak Taught Me. However, in that video, I left a lot of things out. I held back a lot of information. And the reason why I did that is because I wanted that video to be very relatable. I wanted people who were going through heartbreak of any kind to be able to watch that and find a sense of comfort and just know that they're not alone. In doing so, I realize now that I probably alienated a whole other group of people, particularly a lot of spiritual people who might have been going through, an experience closer to what I experienced. So you see in the title, I used the term twin flame. Now, for those of you who don't know what a twin flame is, basically twin flames are supposedly one soul put into two bodies. Now, if you're a spiritual person, you generally will accept the belief that everyone in existence is all from one divine source. Everyone comes from the same oversoul. So the twin flame ideal is basically kind of like that, but at the micro level. So it's like one soul splits into, a bunch of different souls, and then those souls split into a bunch of different souls, and then those souls incarnate into, human form or, whatever, living beings. Now, initially, when I first heard of twin flames, I didn't really want to believe it, and I still kind of don't. And the reason why is because it feels like a cop-out, like a way to avoid facing reality. But at the same time, my intuition tells me that there's more to this situation than what I could see and perceive. And, I kind of touched on some of the spiritual aspects of our situation in my spiritual awakening video, in my angel numbers video. But, I'm going to really take it in depth this time. Hopefully this is the last video I ever have to make where I really tell this whole story again, because I really want to move past the situation. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get into the story. So the story starts in 2019, well before I met this girl. So in 2019, I began to see angel numbers. I saw 111 in particular. 111 was the only one that I was seeing on a consistent basis, but I would see it every day. And it's the closer I got to meeting this girl, the more often I saw it. So, basically most of 2019, I was seeing this number. Fast forward to January 2020. I met this girl on Tinder, okay? Of all places, I met her on Tinder. And from what she's told me, that was actually her first day on Tinder. So, that was pretty interesting. But, we started talking. I got her Snapchat, and then we started talking for real. I don't really know what happened. It's everything just happened so fast. I told myself that I didn't want to catch feelings at the time, but it's I couldn't do anything about it, and the reason why is because there was a connection. It was this certain type of connection that is hard to really articulate in regular words. It's one of those things that you kind of have to feel for yourself. But the best way I think I could describe it is talking to her, being in her presence. It felt like home. We had a lot in common on the surface level, but I was more intrigued by the connection there because it was almost instantaneous. And I would say the first time I felt it was the first time we talked on FaceTime. And I remember our first FaceTime call was 16 hours. It was all day. It was all day. And we never got tired of talking to each other, being in each other's presence. And mind you, at this point, we had only been talking for a week, so to be on FaceTime with this girl for this long, I'm an introvert and she's an introvert as well. And so usually after being with somebody for a certain amount of time, I need to be by myself. But this was different. Now, like I said, we had a lot of similarities, especially on the surface level, but there was one similarity in particular that really caught my attention, and that was that she saw 111 as well. And I remember when I found that out, I think I was on her Twitter page, and she had it in her bio. And when I found that out, I thought I was tripping. And honestly, this is gonna sound kind of weird, but when I first started talking to her, as we started to learn more about each other and we found out the similarities that we had, I thought that it was like one of my friends catfishing me. Like I was like, there's no way that we have this much in common. It was weird. It was scary. It was kind of scary because it was like the little things, man. Like just like seemingly insignificant things that, when you just put them all together, it's kind of like you're living like not the same life, but just very similar lives, like parallel lives. And this is something that I remembered I tried to explain to my friends. It's like, yo, I met this girl and I'm just like, this is just different. Like this just feels weird. Like this doesn't feel like any other girl I've talked to, and I thought I was falling in love initially, but this is just like, it's different than love. Like this is like familiarity. But yeah, anyways, I saw in her Twitter bio that she had the number 111. And I was like tripping. I was like, what? Like, what is this? Like, why does she have that in her bio? And I didn't want to say anything to her about it because I didn't want her to know that I had been like on her Twitter and everything. But whenever I saw it, I went to Snapchat and I told her, like, man, I've been seeing 111 a lot. Or, something like that. I wanted to let her tell me, if she saw it or not. But like I wanted her to tell it to me without me having to ask. And she told me that she saw the number as well. So, up to this point, this was the first person that I had ever met in my life that also saw this number. So, I'm tripping. Like, I'm like, bro, like, what? Like, there's no way that she's actually seeing it. Maybe she's just saying this. So, I remember we started to send each other, like, screenshots every time we would see the number on our phones. We would take a screenshot and send it to each other. And it got to the point where, like, we would send each other, 5 to 10 messages a day of just that. Like, just the screenshots. And so it's like, okay, we're definitely both seeing this number, Now, in my rational mind, I'm thinking she must be the one. She must be the one. She fits the description of what I'm looking for. We're both seeing these numbers. And then I have this like spiritual connection with her. And to add on to that, I remember our very first date, we went and saw a movie. And in the movie, we saw the number 111. And so I was like, okay, like what are the odds of us picking that specific movie that has the number in it? Like, like things like that. It really makes you wonder, like, what is going on? Like I've clearly stumbled upon something here that is a little bit different than anything else, I've experienced. And I remember she even told me that, she felt like she could talk to me for like, hours at a time without getting drained. And she would tell me that she felt like she could just tell me anything. And, like I said, this is all like within a week of us talking, like a week of us starting to talk. Now, within the twin flame ideology, there are like stages that twin flames supposedly go through. And like I said, I'm not really sure if I want to invest myself into that ideology, but, it might be too late. I've done so much research on it. And I'm trying to like uncondition my mind, but it's just so deeply ingrained within me now. But supposedly the first stage of meeting your twin flame is like this blissful state. Actually, no. Before that comes preparation. So within the preparation stage, you usually are introduced to like spiritual concepts and you start to integrate them into your life. And a few weeks before I met her, I remember I started to look into the law of attraction. Like I really started to invest myself into that. So, that matches with the preparation phase. Then the next phase is supposedly this blissful state where, you unite with each other and you just feel this sense of completion that you can't really achieve with anyone else. And see, like, it's ideas like that I don't like. I don't like the idea of my happiness being contingent upon her. But I'm just taking you through, the concept of the twin flame journey. Now, after the blissful state comes separation. She basically told me that she wasn't ready for a relationship and she wanted to just be friends and, keep hanging out and all of that. Now, usually when a girl tells me that, like, that's it, like, that's it. Like, that's the last time I'm ever going to see them. But, for some reason, I just decided, you know what? We have such a great connection. We have so much in common. I'd hate to throw this away because of my ego, because I can't accept us just being friends. And so, I agreed to just be friends. Now, behind the scenes, I wasn't taking this very well. I was struggling. Like that really, really hurt. But, then we continued to hang out. And when we would hang out, I got the sense that she still liked me. This could be taken from, a rational sense. On the surface level, she did things that indicated that she still was feeling my vibe. She definitely was giving off that type of energy. But also, intuitively, I felt it. It's like, this girl still likes me. And I didn't want to tell people this because I felt like it comes across as delusional. And I understand from the outside looking in why it might seem that way. But it's like, yo, my intuition hasn't lied to me up to this point. Why would it lie to me now? But anyways, over time, I started to let other people's interpretations of the situation get into my head. People were telling me she found somebody else, dude. She's talking to someone else. Intuitively, I never felt that way. I never felt, okay, she's just found somebody else. I just didn't get that vibe. That's not what I felt. That's not what my heart told me. But, as we continued to hang out as friends, we started to get closer and closer to like that dating stage again. Like we were kind of like, we were clearly like romantically interested in each other, which, even from the surface level, it's hard to like go from talking to someone to just being friends with them if there's a mutual attraction. There's a saying, actions speak louder than words. Her actions told me that she was still feeling me too. So it's like, in my mind, I was thinking, okay, we still like each other. There's no reason why we shouldn't be together. And so I started to kind of like press her a little bit, and not so much just overtly admitting my feelings to her and all that. It was just like, I started to kind of flirt with her and, things like that. So I basically made it clear to her that I still liked her. Now, when I did that, she kind of got scared away, and she kind of, like, she tried to ghost me, and I went full simp mode. Not gonna lie, I was simping. I was like double, triple texting her. She wasn't responding. And that sent me into like a full-blown panic mode. Like, I was like tripping, bro. I was like, yo, like, what did I do? Like, I should have just like left it at us being friends. But, my heart tells me that, she still likes me. So, it just put me into like a really bad mental state. So anyways, she basically like started to ghost me. And she would like occasionally reply to me. But at a certain point, she went full ghost mode on me. Like, she just stopped answering. So I was like, bro, like, oh my God. Like, I was going through it. And so, mind you, this happened around the time that quarantine started as well. I basically had nothing to do but reflect on the situation. And I remember, she had ghosted me. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just make a video about this. And I made a video about this situation, okay? The first video that I made about this was called Why You Have Trouble with Girls. And if you're watching this video, I probably privated that video already because it has clips of her in it. So don't even go looking for it. Basically, I made this video, and in the video, it's very clear that I was kind of going through it, and I was trying to like sound strong and, remain positive and all this type of stuff. Now, mind you, at the time, she had ghosted me. So I'm thinking, there's no way she's going to watch this. 3 days after I uploaded this video, she hits me up talking about, I'm sorry, like, I know it hurts to be ignored. And she was telling me things like that. And, my first thought when I saw the text was, damn, so you can watch my videos, but you can't respond to my messages. Okay, so I just want to cut in real quick. She specifically told me that she watched the video. She started off the text by saying, hey, I watched your video. So this isn't just me assuming that she watched it. She told me that she did. That was just like my initial thought. It was like, what's the point in doing that? Like, what are you gaining from this? But then after that, it became, why is she watching my videos? Why is she still checking out my channel? Is she watching all of my videos? Like, is this something that she does, like, often? It kind of messed with me a lot. I started to like second guess a lot of the content that I was making. And honestly, like a lot of these videos I'm making now, like this video, the What Heartbreak Taught Me, basically any video about me and her and like our situation, I probably would have posted these videos back then had she not sent me that text. But, obviously she didn't have like ill intent. She wasn't trying to be manipulative. That's not in her nature. The chances are she was just trying to observe me from afar and, examine like how I was doing, and she wanted to kind of remove herself from the situation, but she didn't want to like, hurt me. But anyways, that's like, the separation stage. Also, one thing I also forgot to mention, when I said I was simping, that's another, supposed stage in the twin flame journey. And it's referred to as the runner chaser stage, where, there's one person like chasing, basically simping for the other person. Now, like I said, the twin flame ideology, it doesn't seem like it's very logical. It just seems like a way of ignoring, the harsh reality of the situation. But it's the only thing that I could think of, the only way to explain the connection that we felt. Because like I said, like it was just a spiritual connection, so like clearly, looking at the angel numbers and everything, we were meant to meet each other for one reason or another. We were definitely meant to meet each other. But, we went through the whole separation and then runner chaser stage or whatever. And for a while, like I said, I started to like second guess the content I was making, because I was like, man, what if she's watching this? But I think that kind of stopped when I got monetized. It kind of became like, I'm not going to let my fears of her seeing these videos prevent me from making my money. Like, I'm going to get to my bag regardless. And also, I know that me talking about these things can help a lot of people out. So that's why, I'm really out here speaking my truth with every video. But anyways, I feel like I've come a long way as far as healing goes. And, I'm trying to let go of the situation. I'm trying to move past it, let go of her. But the problem with that is that's built into the twin flame ideology, the idea of letting go. And the next step after letting go is reunion. And so every time I think about letting go and trying to heal from this situation and move past it, it's like there's this thought in the back of my head of like, okay, am I letting go because I genuinely want to let go? Or is it because subconsciously I'm looking for reunion? And that's really like haunted me. Like I really can't figure this out. I do want to let go, but it's like, am I doing it for me or am I doing it for reunion? Now I feel like this kind of bothered me to the point where I've literally just wanted to like put as much space between me and her as possible. I remember starting in April and May, I started doing this. Every single day, I would go for this long drive. And I didn't realize this until like yesterday. But every time I would go on this drive, I was going in the complete opposite direction from where she lived. And I was like, I felt at peace. That was like the only time I felt at peace. It's like, I just want to get as far away from her and the situation as possible. I don't want it to be on the back of my mind every time I go out that I might run into her. I don't want these ideas to be in my head. At this point, I'm not looking for a reunion. I just want peace of mind. Like, that's all I want. I've reached a point where, like, I don't make my videos under the assumption that she watches them, and I also don't make my videos under the assumption that she doesn't watch them. I make my videos to help other people and to speak my truth and to, like, externalize my thoughts, because I feel like with every video that I make about this situation, I feel a little bit better. I feel a little more at ease, a little more at peace. So I'm going to continue to make these videos until I am completely at peace.